Happy Tuesday! Facebook Live again. I love doing this class on Tuesdays. I feel that it's a good way for me to be consistent, to be able to present information to all of you that watch either during the live class or later at another time after I save it to my news feed or I save it to YouTube as well. Teaching fascia stretching has been a game changer. Basically, what I'm trying to do is educate everyone to stretch totally different, completely opposite of the way that we've been taught to stretch our whole lives. I love working with people that are starting to feel kind of aches and pains as they get up in the morning, they go through their day, or people that have a nagging pain that doesn't really have a specific reason, or even someone that has a known scar tissue issue from injury or surgery, and even young athletes that are just trying to start to be physically active, perfect their talent in whatever it is they're doing. Fascia stretching really is a way to get to a further place much quicker than regular stretching. And it's much safer. The point being that when you're fascia stretching, you aren't overstretching because you never lengthen to get a fascia stretch. You shorten the area that you want to stretch. Let's say it's my bicep. So you shorten the muscle, so you're stretching a muscle that's shortened, not lengthened. You add compression or activation by flexing, contracting, and then there's movement in the opposite direction. And the movement stops either when you feel like you hit a wall or the resistance just neurologically falls off and you're not able to maintain it. Today, we are going to be doing some fascia stretches to warm up in standing, a little bit of neuromuscular education as our grounding framework, and then we'll move into some fitness elements as well. I will still talk about using resistance and this grounding connection of your movement, which also then incorporates the fascia more into the fitness element as well. And then we'll finish with some rib cage, torso fascia stretches just to get the body feeling good at the end of it all. I have a mat, I have a blanket that is folded up for when we're doing fascia stretches at the end, so feel free to grab a towel, a blanket, a pillow. I also have a yoga block for assistance with one of the stretches, so if you're at home in the living room or you might want to grab something like a chair or a coffee table or be near that in case you'd like to use that. And then this Rolu bar, this orange bar back here, by my good friend Luis Leonardo, who developed it as a tool for really getting functional natural body movement back into our bodies. So I will be using that for one of the lunge series today, but you can use a towel or anything else that you can hold on both sides to create a little traction. Standing up to begin. It's a nice sunny day here. You might see some shadows going by, and that is Excelsior Boulevard, so hopefully that's not too distracting, but that's what that is. Beginning with foundation is the key to all movement. A lot of times people will just go into their, swipe this away, excuse me, sorry, this is what live is all about, right? To their fitness routine. So their bicep curls, they'll be doing leg exercises. But when you ground first, what happens is that your nervous system, the communication from your brain through the nerves to the muscles, doesn't always have as clear of a pathway as it could. When you ground and you let that happen first and then go into your exercise, your workout, your training, your body will connect as a whole much better. To do that, I call this 50-50 footprint. Standing, feet hip width apart. Take a moment to align yourself up in the best posture that you can achieve. I'll show you from the side here. For me, I have a slightly forward head. I offer myself a slight chin tuck, not down, not up, but straight back as if I'm pulling my chin back towards my throat to achieve as close as I can my ears in line with my shoulders, in line with my hips and my ankles. It's very common for more so women, but men as well, to find that lifted posture and overlift their rib cage. Offer that rib cage down slightly. Maintain that chin tuck so that your rib cage and shoulder is over your pelvis, that your pelvis is not in front or behind, that you're leveling off those two areas. Engage your core. By that, there's a lot of muscles in your core that work together. Your transverse abdominis is a deep abdominal muscle below all the other muscles closest to your pelvis and your spine, giving you your first line of support. I call it the magic muscle because when you get it, when you contract it, when you can use it, and even when it becomes automatic, it can control pain in your body. Sometimes it's knee pain, sometimes it's low back pain. But when you strengthen that transverse, and if you have more questions about it, let me know, it's a powerful muscle to control, support your posture stability and decrease pain. So transverse, just for now, think about engaging deep lower core, inner thighs, hamstrings, glutes, pelvic floor, engaging, lifting up, and your diaphragm. All of these muscle groups come together to support your core. We've set our posture, chin tuck, finding our alignment. Now here's where the 50-50 footprint comes in. Take a moment to feel your body weight distribution in both of your legs. For me, I always have to shift a little bit extra body weight into my left leg. When I do that, I feel a little bit stronger connection with my whole body. Next, after 50-50 body weight, is the footprint. Imagine your bottom of the foot and you have the pad of the big toe, the pad of the pinky toe, and your heel. So 1, 2, 3. Each point on both feet, even pressure into the floor. Take a moment here to see if you need to make any actual adjustments on your own to achieve that. This alone can be a game changer for all of your movement. I have a lot of people I've worked with that have a little nagging foot pain, either a little plantar fasciitis, pain on top or ankle. That can be helped with body weight distribution that's more appropriate for that ankle joint. Also with that connects that whole nervous system that we just talked about, from the feet all the way up to your head and vice versa. So 50-50 footprint. If I say that again later in class, now you have an idea of what that is. Let's move. Taking that same hip width apart stance. Take a look down, make sure your toes are forward. If they naturally turn out a little bit, that's okay if that feels more natural for your hips. Ground down, 50-50 footprint. Slight bend the knees. You don't want to lock those knees out. They're straight but not locked out. Finding that posture. I'm going to go to the side again here for you. Finding resistance out with your feet. Notice if your pressure points changed, even them up if they did. Feel this on the outer thigh and glutes. So we're affecting fascia by adding resistance, even when we're just standing right here. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose. This time, you're going to roll down. Inhale, full breath in. Let the chin fall to the chest. Let the head come forward first. Bend the knees a little bit more and start to roll yourself down. Head, neck, and shoulders are released. I'm continuing to resist out the entire time. I'm resisting out. That will allow me to forward roll to a position that works for me. Bend a little bit deeper, ground down through the floor, resist your feet out, and roll it back up. Tuck your tailbone, stack the vertebrae, one on top of the other, shoulder blades come up and back and down. Find that chin tuck and posture. Inhale, full breath in. Resist your feet out, finding your roll down on your exhale. Soften the knees, head, neck, and shoulders released. Stay here for a moment. Think about what you're feeling in your body. Do you feel tightness in any position, any place? Make note of it. Resist your feet out a little bit more. Your legs might be shaking a little bit. That's okay. This is a good warm-up for that nervous system connection with your muscles and your fascia. Shake it out. Take another deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Finding a wide stance. We are going to fascia stretch your inner and outer thighs. So ITB band, lateral glutes, lateral hamstrings, and then your inner thighs are adductors. This is something that is gentle. You have a lot of control over how much resistance you do with it. But instead of just doing the side-to-side stretch like we've done forever, we're going to create a fascia stretch out of something that we're familiar with. My toes are facing forward. You can adjust your distance as you start to move to what feels most natural and what your body needs. To start, center, resist your feet out. Ground down 50-50. I feel the resistance happening on the outside of my thighs and my lateral glutes. Abs are engaged. As I'm resisting out, I'm going to bend my knee to one side. This leg stays straight, and I'm really focusing on this leg, resisting like I want to slide that foot in the opposite direction. Next, take a look at your knee. Make sure that you don't push that knee forward past your toes. Bring your pelvis straight back to pull your femur back so your knee's over your ankle. Press back up without resistance. This is your start position here. Resist your feet out, and now bending the other knee. You might hear some cracks and pops. That's okay, that's good, natural adjustments. Feeling the resistance still going out, come back to center without resistance. Resist out, find it, hold it, see if you can get more, see if you need less, bringing yourself down to the other side. Your breath moves just naturally in and out, and as much as you can, I encourage you to breathe in and out through your nose. Resist out, feel that pelvic floor lift up, keep it, so you're working your core as you are fascia stretching your body. Back up without resistance. One more to each side, resist out, outer thighs engaged, keep it. Really push that straight leg out to the side. I have a little micro bend in my knee still. If something doesn't quite feel right that you're doing, adjust, modify, or stop. Back to center. We're moving on to the inner thighs. This looks the same, but our direction and our start position is different. We start with one knee bent, one leg straight. Hips are straight back, shoulders are squared to the front. Next, I'm resisting in, like I want to slide my feet in to touch, but they don't move. My focus is my straight leg, inner thigh, resisting this way. Once I have that, keep resisting it in as you straighten the other leg and your posture to come up to center. Bend the other knee, resist both legs in, focus on the inner thigh, on the straight leg, knees still behind your toes here. Back up to center, keep resisting in. You want to affect the fascia by contracting the muscle in a shortened position. Resist both of them in, straight up through center. My heart rate's picking up. I'm getting a little bit warm because outside of just fascia stretching, you are working on strengthening your body. Slight variation, dropping down. Now resist the legs in, both of them, but almost like that heel wants to slide forward like that. It's not going to move, but the direction how you're resisting changes. I'm bringing that heel forward and in as I come back through center. Bend the other side, resist both legs in. That heel, like it wants to slide forward. One more each side, down. Resist them both in. Focus on that heel and the straight leg going forward, back up through center. Thanks for those of you joining me today. Resist in, elbow. Good, forward. All right, walk it in. Little side to side, inner outer thigh resistance. I'm gonna grab the roll bar. Like I said, if you don't have this, anything will do. A belt, a strap, a yoga belt, something that can give you a little bit of tension going out. Lunge position. I love lunges. For a long time, I didn't do them well, and I felt like I had knee pain and knee problems. I didn't have knee problems, I just wasn't executing my body weight distribution and alignment properly. Once I did, these became my favorite thing to do. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. I'm going to grab on, this roller bar has different thumb positions that you can adjust for grip. I'm going to go kind of in the middle, so I'm right about here. I'm resisting my arms out, like I want to slide them in opposite directions. The bar is going to go behind my head. Back toes pressing down into the floor, the ball of the foot down. Still find your grounding position here. So I'm grounding 3 points in each position on my front foot. Belly's engaged, slight chin tuck. To go first into the motion, as I go down into my lunge, bend both knees here so that my front knee is behind my toes, everything is squared off. I'm going to bring the roller bar to my neck and then hinge forward. When you hinge, I want your body weight distribution over that front leg, but notice that my knee doesn't go forward. I'm keeping my pelvis back, my belly lifted, my back straight. 3-point contact in my front foot. Lunge. We're only doing 5. slow, control, hinge. Finding that strength in your hamstrings and glutes in that front leg. Back up and hinge. Breathe in and out and lunge. Take a look at your posture. If you're moving through and it doesn't feel right, notice if you need to change. Each joint needs to have its proper placement. Last one, down. I'm resisting my arms a little stronger. Back up, keep resisting my arms out. Hinge forward. Back up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Good. Switching sides. Other foot in front. Heel up and back. Hips squared. Bringing the bar up and back to begin. Ground down. 50-50 body weight. And all 3 points in the foot in the front. Resist your arms out. Engage your core. Bending down into your lunge. Bar comes back behind the head. Keep resisting your arms out. Find your hinge. Engage your hamstrings and your glutes in the front leg and all 3 points in the foot. Back up to center. Lunge. 2. And back. Hinge. And up. And down. 3. Arms resisting out. Find your 3 points. When you add that extra resistance in your movement, you're affecting fascia. What we want to do, creating more lubrication, hydration, one more, and up, and hinge, and up, and release. Great. Take your belt or strap and set it to the side. Making your way down to your mat. We are going to be doing knee push-ups, so feel free to grab a blanket or towel underneath your knees for a little extra cushion. The reason I like to do push-ups in a fascia stretching class is because I offer a cue to do them a little bit different, so you again are affecting the fascia while you are strengthening your body. Posture is very important, so making your way down. You can do full push-ups if you feel you'd like to, but maybe try on your knees first so you can really get a feel for what I'm saying here. So right here, my shoulders are over my wrist, chin tucked, belly lifted. I'm going to resist my arms out this way to begin. In my start position, resist your arms out, then lower about halfway with an inhale and exhale up. Resist your arms out. Keep resisting them out as you lower and press. 2. Resist out and exhale, push. 3. If you're trying this with me at home, this is a good way to get your body energized for the day. Resist out, lower. Now switch it up, resist in. Feel the difference. What feels better to you? Inhale down, exhale, press. 2 more, keep resisting those arms and down, and up. 1 more time, down, and up. Take a moment to stretch back, rest, let the head stay in neutral spine. Hands are pressing again into the floor slightly. You're always offering some active resistance in everything you're doing. And making your way down all the way to the floor. I'm going to use my towel in a moment, but for right now, we're going to do a little ab core work. On your back, take a moment first just to settle in. It's so nice to lay on the floor because your body will just tell you once you're down where you're feeling tight, where you might need to adjust. Take a moment, 50-50 body weight in both legs. Notice if you have to adjust or modify. Find your footprint, all 3 points, each foot. Notice how that connects once you press into the floor with those feet a little bit. Your whole body connects as one. Take your hands back behind your head to support your neck. Inhale in here for a moment to let those arms stretch out to the side. And exhale. On an exhale, curl up, tips of the shoulder blades. Stay here for a moment. Notice if you flattened your back by pelvic tilting. If you did, release it slightly so your sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of your spine, connects with the floor. It might feel new to you to not have a full flat back, and that's okay.
If you have low back tightness, feel free to offer yourself that pelvic tilt. Bringing one leg up to 90-90, other leg up to meet it. Zip those legs together first to make a connection. Inner thighs pressing in, knees, outer glutes pulling in. Lift your upper body just a half an inch more. Chin towards your throat, not down, but still keep that space right here. Fire that transverse, that deep core muscle that I talked about in the beginning of class. Use that to stabilize as you reach one leg away and one leg in. This is slow, controlled, so that your brain has the time it needs to connect with what adjustments you need to make this feel as connected and energized as possible. Not to mention safe. Reaching the leg out, energize this leg, squeeze that quad, squeeze your hamstring. Make it work more than it needs to, reach it out. Either point or flex. I'm going to go to pointed foot. Each leg, I feel a little bit different at what happens with my torso part of the body in contact with the floor. Build your awareness. What are you feeling? Can you make it feel about the same? Breathe and lengthen. Energize your legs. Feel the stability building by contracting the deep transverse. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees to your chest. Head comes down to rest. Looking side to side, release any tension in the neck. And let the breath move through. Roll into your side to come up. Moving into some fascia stretches for the torso. We'll move on to the hamstrings and also that space between the shoulder blades here. For the torso, twisting. If you have something going on with your back, if something doesn't feel right, stop, modify, shoot me a message and I can help you out with it. This looks like the reach throughs that you do in yoga to add an element of fascia stretching for this area, an area that needs so much more attention than we ever give it. You have to shorten the area, add activation. I'll teach you how to do that, moving in the opposite direction. So this ends up being a full body fascia stretch with a little extra focus in the rib cage area. On your hands and knees. I have this beautiful plan, but I'm basically working out in it. All right, my hands are below my shoulders, my belly's lifted, and my knees are below my hips. I'm gonna take one arm, I'll reach through towards you first, and thread it between your arm and your leg. Notice how this arm dropped down, bring it up, open it up. So I have power to push down into the floor here. I'm gonna open up my knees just a little bit more. My cheek is down, but it doesn't have to be. If you can't get all the way down, offer yourself this position first. Do what's right for you to begin. Push down through this hand and the back of the hand as well. So I'm resisting it down into the floor. So I'm feeling the activation through the arm that's on the floor. My hips naturally shifted this direction. So what I'm gonna do is stay here, focus on your arms, your hands pressing into the floor, and then move your hips in the opposite direction. Whew. And bring it back over without resistance. Add resistance into the upper body. That's your main focus. Your hips are just your movement part of your body. Resist and pull. I feel this in the rib cage that's closest to the floor. Press down and pull. We'll offer one variation after this. Start to the right, I'm to the right, or your left. Press the hand down into the ground and pull. Next, take this other hand and place it on top. So your hands are kind of working together. So I'm going to grip my hands, press this hand down, and hips move, body moves over the opposite direction. Start in, resist down with the hands, and pull. Making your way back up to center, recover for a moment, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll switch here so you can see as well. Hands and knees, tummy's tight lifted, opposite arm reaches underneath. Knees are apart if you need to. Press the back of the hand down into the floor and this hand down. Feel the connection mainly in the arm that's on the floor. Then move your hips away from it in the opposite direction. I am so much more bound up on this side, however, both of them feel very tight. Press down. If you want to access movement in your body that feels more free, this is a very good stretch to do. The fascia just acts like a very strong web or net, dives down into our rib cage, wraps around every muscle fiber, and also our organs. Finding this little twist with activation and movement helps all of those different areas. One more time, breathing. You have the chance to offer more or less resistance. Take your hand, place it on top of this bottom one. Resist this arm down into the ground. Use the other arm to anchor that. Once you have it, pull your hips away from it. Ugh. I'm creating more space with each one. One more time. Resist the arm down, 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 gently pull, 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 and making your way back up. Whew. Oh my gosh, my ribs just feel like, oh, I can move now again, which is what we want. We don't want these ribs to bind us down. Waking up in the mornings feeling stiff and achy, a lot of times that's because our fascia, our connective tissue, is just binding us in one position. A lot of that's a forward position in car, at a desk, doing work, looking at phones. And when that happens over and over again, our body just locks that position in. So if you've ever gone for a chiropractic adjustment where you're doing adjustments with the bones and you get back to center, and the question is, well, why does it always go back? Because if you were to take your bones and your muscles out of your body, your fascia still will give you the same shape. That same shape is wherever your weakness or imbalance is. So if I just naturally am twisted slightly this way, if I were to get a chiropractic adjustment and I have this beautiful posture, which is great and we need that, the reason it might not stay is because this is so strong. It's going to pull you back out. Just something to think about. So if you do chiropractic adjustments, which are great, try doing some of these fascia stretches. The combination, I think, is really great. Moving on to those hamstrings. So the hamstrings, I think we all need hamstring work, but really we also need quad and hip flexor work. So we're going to do a gentle hamstring stretch to begin. The rule of thumb of fascia stretching: shorten the area that you want to stretch, add activation and movement in the opposite direction. So grab that block if you have one, or the coffee table next to you in case you need it. Start with one foot in front of the other, and feel free to roll up the mat or a towel underneath the leg that's on the knee that's on the floor. Rather than pulling back, feeling that stretch and pulling back more, opposite. We come forward to shorten this hamstring as much as we can. Once I'm here, there's a lot of mini variations we can do with this, but in general, either your heel or your foot is going to press down into the floor and back, as if I want to slide that front foot back. To do that, when that happens, I'm activating this shortened hamstring. So I'm going to offer myself that resistance now. I'm going to do my full foot. I feel that hamstring kick in a little bit more for me when I do that. And now my movement is pulling my hips and pelvis away from my foot. This is pretty intense when you're first starting out, but it's super beneficial and your body gets used to it. This is what it looks like if I'm keeping my hands on the ground. So you come forward, that's your position number one. Add your activation by pressing down and back, shortening the muscle, adding activation to affect the fascia, and move your hips in the opposite direction. If your leg is shaking, if something feels congested, usually that's a sign of dense fascia scar tissue. I wish that everyone stretched their hamstrings for their fascia and not the muscle. I feel like we'd offer our bodies a chance to really develop really strong muscle health and also prevent injuries and tears and pulls of the muscle. Let's do another one. Front foot resist forward. Here's what it looks like if I want to balance. Still doing the same thing. Every variation is right, whatever works for you. Take your foot that's in front and move it 1 inch to the side. Come forward again. Resist that front foot forward. We're changing just ever so slightly the angle of our foot position to change where the fascia stretched as we're moving through. Back forward, resist front foot down and back. Once you have it, you can add more, you can add less, pull in the opposite direction. And release. Bringing that leg down. Wow, this whole leg is just feeling the work, the effects of that. When you stand up at the end of this, It might feel really good to do a forward roll and just compare what it would normally feel like in normal stretching and movement, and then what it feels like after stretching the fascia, especially in these hamstrings. Other foot's in front, square everything forward. Starting forward, shortening the hamstring in front. Press that front foot down and back, feeling the activation happen in that hamstring. Then draw your hips back while you continue to resist the whole time. Breathing, moving in and out. Moving back, how far to go really is determined by your ability to maintain the resistance. If you feel like you hit a wall or you're not able to continue resisting, don't go any further. The benefit happens at the beginning. It's not about how far back you go. Notice I never go into a full stretch. Back forward, resist the foot back. Draw your hips back, tummy's tight, back is supported, chin tucked. Thinking about the posture of the rest of the body as we're fascia stretching the hamstring. I'm going to lift my toes a little bit just because it feels good. I'm able to get a little bit different stretch. Adjusting, modifying if you need to. Next, take that front foot and move it 1 inch to the outside. Shift forward to begin again. Resist that front foot down and back. Once I have that, I'm not only going to resist my foot, I'm going to move my hips back and maybe to the opposite direction ever so slightly. The key is to always remain resisting into that short muscle. That way you're affecting, again, the fascia. So this is opposite of stretching. Everything is shortened, activated, and movement, whereas stretching is lengthened, holding, non-moving in general. And back. Good job. Let's finish the class with a stretch for the fascia between your shoulder blades. Who doesn't need that, right? With phones and everything, like I mentioned, with posture, this is a really, really good one to do. And there's a lot of variations within it, but we're going to go straight into that space between your shoulder blades. Knees are apart, feet are together. Feel free to offer a little cushion under your knees if you need to. Bringing your body weight forward as if you're going to do a push-up on your knee. Make sure you can see me good here. So I'm shifting my body weight forward into my hands. My hands are about the inside edges of the mat. You can be closer together. So first, this is the position if you were to go back into a child's pose. So we're not going to do that, but that's the position you want to be in. Next, take your arms down to the ground. Elbows are going to pull together as close as you can, and your hands kind of make a fist to grab. Shift your body forward over your forearms. Next, add resistance. Resist the forearms, the elbows back, like you want to slide them to your belly button. Once you feel that, imagine the space between your shoulder blades, keeping your chin tucked and belly lifted. Then pull your hips back towards that child's pose position. It's not a huge movement. Back forward, find your resistance. The benefit's happening right there. Keep the power pushing down into the ground. Back forward without resistance, chin tuck, resist the forearms down. Keep that resistance as you pull back. Breathing. And forward. Resist and pull back. And one more time. And pull. And back up to center. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you feel like you have people in your life that might benefit from fascia stretching, that have dense fascia, connective tissue, fascia is going to be heard a lot more with all the research and studies coming out about it, or scar tissue. Those are things that can be effective and changed. I had chronic pain for 15 years from scar tissue that I was aware of from an injury, and 10 minutes of this work, targeting it the right way, allowed me to change that scar tissue and increase that communication for my nervous system to my body, and then also allow me to get my hamstrings to contract and stretch again. And my whole life changed in a matter of 10 minutes because I got my body back, and that's a really beautiful thing. And if you have the opportunity to use this work to benefit you, I really highly recommend it. My new motto is maximize happiness. And if you can make your body feel better in any way, that's going to maximize your happiness with how you feel each day. I did a wonderful networking meeting this morning with a lot of awesome entrepreneur people in fitness world and health and then other various areas as well. And it was just so fun to connect because most people are like, your company is Fascia Fix? What, I've been hearing about fascia. So it's been awesome to talk about it and educate. I love that people are learning about it. I'm teaching a class here at Halsa next Wednesday, the 25th at 7 p.m. I have an event up at Eventbrite right now, which you can access through my social media stuff. And it is Fascia Stretching 101. So if you want more specific discussion, about 20 minutes of talking, 1 hour class followed by a little bit of discussion afterwards. I usually serve tea or wine. Please sign up and come to my class. Bring a friend. The space is limited, I think to 10 is where we're at, but I'll be teaching elsewhere in the upcoming months as well. But this would be a really good one to begin to really dive deep into it. And I'll give everyone a stretch to take home with them that's specific to them and their needs. Have a great Tuesday. Share with your friends, all that jazz. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.